Just feel like this episode is going to be almost impossible to feel comfortable filming, but it needs to come out. So here it is. This has definitely been something that I've been putting off, and it's taken quite a while to feel ready and comfortable to share this, not only intimately with my own family members, but publicly as well. I think that my apprehension is that I know that I don't owe anybody any sort of explanation, but I also like explaining my life a little bit, hence the whole podcast thing. So, this was a really interesting journey for me. And if you're converting, and specifically from Judaism to Catholicism, or whatever it may be, to just anything to Catholicism, I'd really like to share experiences and talk a little bit more about that. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Young, Hot, and Divorced. I'm Tori, and today on the podcast, I am recording a highly requested episode, and it's all about my conversion. So, this wasn't clickbait. This is actually real. I am converting to Catholicism from Judaism. And I don't want to get too into everything today. I just want this to be like an overall overarching explanation, best that I feel comfortable giving. And, faith and beliefs are something that are really private and personal, and certain things make sense to certain people. And I think at the end of the day, whatever you choose to believe, I think it's important to believe in something, even if it's, the word is not God, the word is a universe, what a higher being, whatever it is. I think that having faith is super important and gives you a sense of purpose. And in my experience, through reading the Bible, a doctrine of how to live your life. I've got my first Bible. Little story about this. I purchased this for myself about a year ago, and I started reading it just thinking, like, so many people live their life by this book. What does it say? So I just started cracking it open and reading it randomly and starting to highlight things that connected with me. And I found myself really intrigued by these ancient words that are still pertinent today to everyday life. And I was like, wow, this really makes sense. There are so many things in here that are not new to me or to probably anybody else, but it's just a reminder and something to come back to remember to do good and to believe and have faith and so many other things. So, reading the Bible about a year ago came to be one of my daily practices. It was something that I just liked to do in the morning. I liked to get up with the sunrise. I liked to make myself a cup of coffee, and I liked to have a quiet moment with my Bible. And I would also journal at the same time. This is kind of my morning routine. I have my journal, my Bible, and I should say it's more than a morning routine. Like anytime I really have time and feel like I have the ability to reconnect in these ways, I do. So that's the Bible. So, like I said, I purchased a Bible about a year ago, started reading it. It became my daily practice. And I realized that the words I was reading are what I want to live my life by. And not only that, but also how I want to raise my children and the standards I want to uphold in our household. I didn't think that, in order to do that, I needed to convert. And I'm correct in that, you can live by these words and still not convert. But I wanted to raise my children with faith. There felt like there were limitations to Judaism. I think that those core values are what it's all about. And there's also a historical aspect to it where, obviously Jesus is real and true, and there are many witnesses to these miracles, and that might be controversial. And like I said, everybody has their own faith and beliefs, and you're entitled to believe whatever you want to believe. I just see Catholicism as something that resonates a lot more with me, my lifestyle, and how I want to bring up my kids. I was actually really interested in taking the conversion classes, thinking maybe by the end of it, I'll choose not to convert. Like, maybe it's not for me. Maybe I'll go to one class and realize it's not what I want to do. But every step through this journey, whether it be me buying my first Bible, going to church the first time, speaking with a priest, whatever it may have been, I've only felt led in one direction, and that's fully converting. And I think it's really special that my children will be baptized with me as well. I feel like the symbolism of the rituals is beautiful, but it's not what it's about for me. For me, it's about living my day to day by this word. And something else that's so beautiful that we've been doing is going to church as a family, especially for my boyfriend and I. It gives us a minute to reconnect. We stand there for an hour, sit there, or kneel, whatever we're doing, whenever we're doing it, and we're holding hands and we're listening to what is being said, and we're able to internalize that. We're connected to each other. We know the other one hears it too. And we're like, that applies to whatever we're going through at this moment. And it gives us a different perspective that we might not have had. And it's always in a more positive direction. So I think that bringing up our kids around that and, just us going ourselves really strengthens our connection and deepens our faith. I'm finally understanding what these terminologies mean. They never applied to me before, but after going through this process, and I still am going through this process, I should say. I actually had my second conversion class tonight, so I'm loving it. It's going really well so far. So, this also didn't just completely come out of nowhere. My mother was raised Catholic and my father Jewish. So, my mother converted when she met my father, and her entire family still was Catholic and celebrated Christmas and Easter and went to church and things like that. And so I was exposed to that religion my entire life. It wasn't what I practiced, but I loosely celebrated and, you know, joined in the festivities when I was there as a child. And to me, being Jewish in my physical day-to-day identity type of thing is being culturally Jewish. So I love our family traditions. Don't get me wrong. I think that the food we make is so great. I think that the holidays, the way we celebrate them, and all of the traditions that come with it are amazing and so warm. And I have nothing but good memories. And I think that's the best part about being Jewish and Catholic is that, like my priest said to me today, I'm like the Bible, and it's the Old Testament and the New Testament like smacked together. And I see that as such a beautiful thing, that I have such a deep understanding of the Old Testament in a way that that's all I've ever known. And now I have the New Testament, which I am learning. And I think anybody who's really into history would probably enjoy reading the Bible to some degree. I'm not trying to preach in any way here, but like I said, I have this perspective from both sides, and I still choose to believe past the Old Testament. As you know, I've been married twice, and the first time there was a religious aspect to it, but I didn't believe in it. And I didn't feel like we were truly married in God's eyes. And I don't think that that was the motive when I was getting married the first time either. I think it was because we wanted to start a family, and legally, you get married and that's what you do. But if I were to get married again, what I would really value would be getting married in God's eyes. If I were to get married again, it wouldn't be for a logistical or legal reason. It would be because I truly would see myself with somebody united. That's what marriage means to me now. And call it evolving, call it growing up. I don't know, call it divine intervention, whatever you want to call it. That's just what's going on right now. I started telling my family members before I actually started to convert, and I told a couple of friends too. So, just a funny story, I was breaking the news to my cousins, and I was really apprehensive because I really didn't know how they were going to take it. We grew up very similarly, and they are Jewish, more so than me, that both of their sides are fully Jewish. I was nervous and I didn't know how to say it. So I called my cousin. I'm on the phone and I'm like, Well, you know I'm not pregnant because I've had a hysterectomy, but there's something I need to tell you. It's just something that like I've been feeling and I've been keeping it to myself for a while and I have this whole buildup and she's kind of like, well, what is it? And I tell her I'm converting and she's like, "Oh my God, I thought you were coming out." And I am dying because I could totally see that. I'm like, I've been keeping something to myself. I haven't been ready to tell people. I'm like, oh my God, no, not gay, but I am switching teams a little bit, you know? So in some ways, I guess you could say I came out. Don't tell the Catholic Church that though. I might have to cut that out. I don't know. So their reaction was awesome. My cousins were super supportive. My friends that I told really said, whatever makes you happy. And that was most people's reaction. Like, cool, you know, you're not killing anybody. I don't really care what you do. It sounds good. Great. My mom had a couple of questions, and so did my stepdad. But my sister, I knew was going to have a really tough time with this. And she did. I knew I was going to feel a certain way about this because I didn't want her to feel like I was abandoning her or putting our identity aside or away. I still believe what I believe. She feels really passionately about Israel. I have a brother who lives in Israel, and my belief and stance there does not change. I had a tougher time telling her. And then I haven't had a conversation yet with my grandparents and with my dad. I think they're the last people that I haven't had a face-to-face conversation with. Um, I did get a quick message from my grandma, and I said to her, you know, I'm going to explain this to you when I'm ready to, because I knew that this was going to be the shock of her life. Grammy, if you're listening to this, I am sorry for the heart attack. But don't worry, everything's going to be okay. This is a beautiful thing. We are not losing anything. We are only gaining something. And I think it's really important. You know, my boys are growing up in a different family structure, and I am obviously a mother, and I can provide them what I can provide them with, you know, life guiding ways. But I'm one person, and there has to be more perspectives. And I feel like being raised with the Bible gives them those tools to be a better person. And it's just a book I like a lot. Like, it's like if you liked Harry Potter and you wanted to get your kids on Harry Potter. Like, that's how I see it, you know? Just all good things. And hey, if it gets them reading, I'm just kidding. I don't think they're going to read it. But they are engaged during church and they really do enjoy it. And they try and sing the songs. They kneel when they're supposed to kneel and they know that it'll be quiet. It's really a beautiful family experience. So I'm enjoying the whole process so far. But if you know me, this probably seems so left field. You're probably like, she's officially lost her mind. You know, what can't this girl do? She's batshit crazy. She's really lost it this time. I'm well aware that this is not going to be everybody's journey, but it's mine and I'm sharing it because, like I always say, if there's anybody else out there that's going through something similar or knows somebody, I am always down to talk and connect. And with that, if you've made it this far into the podcast episode, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, whatever it is, wherever you're watching this. All of that support means so much to me and helps me so much more than you think. So, would really appreciate that. If you guys have any questions about my conversion journey, I am so open to sharing. You know, I don't want to get into anything too controversial on this episode because it's not really what it's about. It's not, you know, about my personal beliefs and trying to make you feel the same. It's just a journey I'm going through and something that's happening in my life that I want to share because it's only been transformative in a positive way. And, you know, I always say when you focus on the good gets better. And I've been focusing a lot on the Bible and going to church and all of the good that that's brought me in my life. And not going to lie, the good is getting better. Like I love this, you know? It's something that I'm really happy to lean into. I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but if you do happen to have a bit of time, I have plenty of other episodes for you to lean in and listen to. If you would like to follow me on Instagram, you can do so at Young Hot Divorced. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Tori. This is Young Hot and Divorced, and I hope you have the best day. Bye.